Welcome to AfricaCom TV, coming to you from the 20th anniversary event. We're very pleased to have with us today Mr. John Momoh, Chairman and Founder, CEO of Channels Media Group. How are you doing, Mr. Momoh?
Absolutely wonderful. Pleasure is mine.
Thank you so much for taking the time out for, taking part in our agenda this week. How have you been enjoying the event so far?
It's been wonderful. As I said, it's gotten off to a flying start. You qualified that for me. And it's always good to come back to Cape Town. Perfect excuse for me to come back to Cape Town is AfricaCom, because I know that I'm going to have the best of all worlds here. Brainstorming session, a lot of camaraderie among the people, and then of course the beautiful landscape and the cuisine and what have you in Cape Town. So it's always a magnet.
Wonderful. We're so glad that AfricaCom brings you back every year. I want to talk a little bit about the sessions you're taking part in this week. But first and foremost, I want to really talk about your career and your background. It spans 3.5 decades.
4 decades.
4 decades now. You're a stalwart of African broadcasting. But what led you there? What spurred you to first enter broadcasting?
Well, as most broadcasters, I want to say, it's by accident. I actually had gone back to school in one of the regions in the southwest of Nigeria after my high school, and in a bid to be able to pay for the fees and to be able to put body and soul together, I had an announcement on radio asking for people to come for a casting of a crew for a radio drama, and I went there, did the casting, and I was chosen as one of the people to take part in the play. And the guy who was in charge said I had a good voice, and he said, look, after the play, why don't you just come and do an audition to see if you can be part of our presenters, which I did. It was a hit. I worked there for 2 years thereafter as first and foremost somebody who was presenting a program, and then as a news reader on radio. And after my high school, my higher education, I now left back to Lagos, where I'd come from, and went to the Voice of Nigeria. I wanted to continue on that path. And I was chosen as one of the new anchors, and I started there and was there for 5 years, after which I crossed over to television. In TV, I'd worked with the public broadcaster, Nigerian Television Authority. I was there for 10 years. And while there, I did try to understand every aspect of television. I was a news anchor, one of the main news anchors. I was a reporter. I forayed into production as well, did some editing. As a matter of fact, did directing and went into understanding the engineering concepts. So I tried to go through the rites of passage, as it were, in the Nigerian Television Authority, which is the public broadcaster, and I was there for 10 years. And after that, I then went into private broadcasting.
So you really do have a great grounding in all facets of broadcasting then. Indeed. So you're well suited to TV Connect Africa then, where you delivered your keynote address today. So what were the major takeaways from that session?
It was just to sound a wake-up call for broadcasters all over the continent that we can smell the coffee now. The disruption is actually upon us, and that there was a lot of intimidation and fragmentation going on, and we need to do things differently. The business model has changed. It's not business as usual, it's business unusual. So the broadcasters should know that the consumer is more on the driving seat than ever before. We need to go to them, and they want content whenever they want it, wherever they want it, however they want it. So we must follow them. But of course, there were issues about fake news arising from social media. We talked about the fact that artificial intelligence is also is changing the landscape, and machine learning as well. All of these were the issues that I brought to the fore, and I then stressed on the need for us to be ready, to take advantage of technology, and to know that it's become such a small world, and that we can seize the opportunity, seize the day of what technology presents to us, and use it as a leverage for all broadcasters around the continent.
Wonderful. So now in 2017, what are the hallmarks of a successful broadcaster in Africa?
I think it's one that connects with the viewers, one that has very good content, content that hits it off with the viewers, with good quality, good sound, good audio, extensive reach, but much more importantly, the one that impacts on the viewers, to be able to, let the viewer be informed, particularly those of us in the news and current affairs scene, to be informed and use that information to impact on their lives. And then still hold government accountable. If you're able to do that, and then you're able to keep your heads above water because of dwindling advertising, then you're just on the verge of being successful.
Fantastic. I want to talk about talent in the industry as well. Are youngsters coming up through the ranks? Is there enough intervention with regards to bringing them into broadcasting? What more can we do? I
think we could do more. As far as channels is concerned, we've just set up what is called the Channels Academy in Lagos and Abuja. And there we are training young journalists. It's not restricted to only journalists, but we're training a lot of journalists across all spheres, be it in the print or broadcast or in the digital spheres. And has been accepted very widely. And we've trained about 365 journalists so far. The first set of foreign journalists came from Ethiopia, and I've just finished the course at the Academy in Abuja. But I think there's need for us to do a lot more to see how we can develop the young ones all across the continent. One of the projects that Channels has is to develop a core of news reporters in the northern part of Nigeria. So we've just started rolling out what is called the Hausa service of Channels television. And there we're trying to see how we can intervene in what is happening particularly in the northeast, where there's a lot of displacement and a lot of internationally displaced people who want a better life but are not able to get it. So we're using programs and a lot of content to reach out to the people, but also developing young talents and building a core of reporters that will send out onto the field all over the northern part of the country.
Wonderful. Please keep us updated and all the developments there.
Absolutely.
For sure. You can present on it in your next keynote at AfricaCom.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Just to end there, we're celebrating 20 years of media, technology and telecommunications development on the African continent this year. What are your hopes and aspirations for African broadcasting and media for the next 20?
In the next 20 years, first of all, I don't think TV will be known as TV. But I know that AfricaCom will grow from strength to strength. And I think that, I must commend the organizers. I must commend Chris for his foresight as well. And I think that there's need to take this even far into the different nooks and crannies of the continent to see, so that we can actually catch everybody and bring them on board. But the industry is changing so rapidly. I've never seen such a dynamic industry as the broadcast industry. Because of technology, we probably will start experiencing what you can readily point to in the film called The Fifth Element, where there's so many bizarre things happening. But content is always king. Platform, as I said, is queen. But in any case, there's even some kind of dispute now that even content has shifted from being king to be second king, and that service is now king. So service is going to be of great importance. There's need for us to produce and be very creative in our content and what we offer. And this must be one that is meaningful to the people. Public broadcasting must be brought back into the fold and made to be very effective and impactful, with a lot of funding, with non-government interference, and with a lot of its programs targeted at diversity. The world is changing very rapidly. But all in all, television and the broadcast industry must be used to impact the lives of people more than ever before.
Wonderful. We look forward to seeing it. Thank you so much, Mr. John Momoh.
Thank you, Abby.
Thanks.
A pleasure. Thanks.